So the question is, what happens if you're faced with racing in high heat and high humidity? Well, guess what? It means you're racing in high heat and high humidity. You need to be pragmatic, and all it is an additional stressor to what is an already stressful race. And so you need to take a pragmatic but solutions-based approach to it. So the first is you need to check your ego and realize that you need to perform within the context of the conditions. So this first takes a management mindset, staying hyper aware of the stresses that you're facing as you go throughout the day. The second component is you need to plan ahead a little bit. With most races starting in the morning, the temperature and the humidity typically rises throughout the day. If you're a triathlete, on the back end of the bike or the run is where the heat is going to occur. So you cannot afford earlier in the race to ignore your hydration and fueling needs. You need to ensure that you're staying fueled and hydrated so that when heat stress is added, and maybe absorption and capacity to take in fluids and most importantly calories is potentially diminished, you have a full substrate tank. Now, what happens when you actually race in the high heat and humidity? A couple of tips that occur. Firstly, clothing choice, making sure that you're having the lightest, most reflective and heat dissipating clothing choices that you possibly can. Very, very important. On top of that, you need to ensure that you're leveraging the three components of pace and intensity. You have the output, so that's your power on the bike or your pace on the run, etc. Then you have your internal measurement of stress, metabolic stress, typically measured with your heart rate. And that doesn't lie. When you're operating in heat, it's going to elevate stress for the same output. So you must consider that and potentially lower output a little bit so that you can be successful. And then the third leg of the stool is the moderating effort. How does it actually feel? And that's the component that becomes so critical. Now, in so many cases, the final thing I want to say is pragmatism rules. And you don't want to ride or run your way into a ditch. And what I mean by that is if on the run, as the heat and humidity comes, you're starting to feel high stress, heart rate in the mouth, you just can't manage your core intensity and core heat, you need to start to move into management mode, integrating smart walk breaks, ensuring that you go through aid stations that occur and getting cooling fluids over the top of the head, and most importantly, ice and cooling fluids inside the system because the body cools from the inside out. If you can do that before things become catastrophic and you can maintain management, you have a higher propensity for success and ultimately a better race result. I hope that helps. Take care.